world is becoming more conscious about biofuels and eliminating the use of the fossil fuels in every aspect of the economy. Sugar industry has to become a biorefinery which does not burn anything, because as we burn we don't produce something. So sugar industry of the future will become a zero burning factory which does not any carbon dioxide and which actually does not consume any water. Rather, it delivers the entire water of the sugar cane back to the farming or back to the ecology around the sugar factory, so that the factories becomes green factory which consumes minimum chemicals and also produce in turn all the fertilizer which is needed by the sugar cane farms, so that the whole economy around the sugar industry becomes a very green and environment friendly. Now, this presentation is focused on how we will turn our industry business model or technological model into that direction. And good thing about the whole model is that it is economically sustainable, because it actually adds value to the sugar cane processing by the sugar cane processing, so that the total value of the product becomes 2 to 3 folds, and actually the farmers, the operating staff, the manufacturing companies, designing companies, technology companies, everybody will gain, and environment also will gain out of this change. The presentation is focused to give you how this will happen and the roadmap of the next 5 to 10 years during which this changeover is likely to happen. So, let me first tell you about our company. Our company, Spray Engineering Devices, but we are dedicated for sustainable environment development to unlock perpetual food and energy resources, and we actually work to produce sugar without burning anything, to produce ethanol without burning anything, and to produce various chemicals, paper, or all the products out of the sugar cane with minimum burning or zero burning. Our company started in 1992. We are nearing 30 years of our existence, and we have been an innovator right from the beginning. We have brought out many technologies, products from time to time, and our company is reputed for bringing out the new direction for the sugar industry. So, current direction is nothing new. We have around 620 employees. We are recognized by the Department of Science and Industrial Research, and we have in-house designing. We also provide technological consultation. We also work on equipment manufacturing, but our focus is to save energy as much as possible in the sugar cane processing area. We are located in Chandigarh. Our corporate office is in Mohali. Our manufacturing facilities are in Baddi. We are starting some more facilities in Bidar. We have offices in Pune and Chennai, and we are spreading very rapidly now, working with very reputed customers, not only now in the sugar sector but also in the waste water, biomass processing, garbage processing, textile, paper, in all the sectors wherever evaporation and crystallization is required without burning fuel, we are there. So, let me put it in the conventional sugar factory model. The conventional sugar factory model is currently based around a power plant. Now, power plant is actually today not giving any value to the sugar industry. Bagasse is burnt, and our fuel value of the bagasse is also not able, we are not able to recover, while bagasse has much better possibilities to convert into the fossil fuel free organic compounds, and currently we are actually competing with coal, and coal is actually is not a sustainable fuel. So we have in the current process, you have the power plant, you have the sugar factory, distilleries, sugar refinery, sugarcane farm. So most of the sugarcane is coming to the sugar factory. Partly bagasse is going for the power production, some molasses is going for distillery, and sugar refinery is producing refined sugar, power is coming, ethanol is coming. Primarily three main products: ethanol and sugar and power. Now when you see in terms of the kilowatt, the lowest whatever sugar is there in terms of the kilowatt in the sugar cane, almost 98% is coming in the ethanol or sugar. Both are fetching a price almost equivalent to 6 rupees per kilowatt hour. For example, sugar has 5 kilowatt of energy and it is selling at around 30 rupees, 36 rupees per kg. So about 6 rupees per kilowatt sugar is fetching. Ethanol, it has around 5 to 6 kilowatt of energy. That ethanol is fetching 12 rupees per kilowatt in terms of the energy. Ethanol is being very high on incentive, so government is actually giving lot of value to ethanol, and that's why sugar is getting converted into ethanol. But how long it will continue, the subsidies will continue, that is at least next 5 years it will be there. But the bagasse is actually converted into electricity with just 20% efficiency, and per kilowatt electricity price is 3 rupees to 6 rupees, which is actually 5 times less value we are creating from the biomass energy resource of bagasse, and we are not gaining anything in terms of the total value creation. So in the sugarcane processing, say about 4,000 rupees to 5,000 rupees is coming from the juice based substrate. Bagasse based substrate, it's only 500 rupees. That is very little. So that's where our focus is, to move and create more value from the bagasse. But to get more value from the bagasse, you have to save bagasse. Currently, not a lot of bagasse is saved after the ethanol and juice sugar production. So we are actually running short of the fuel in most of the factories. Just look at the sugarcane. Sugarcane has 53% water, it has a lot of dry matter, also various types of dry matters. You can see there are leaves, tops, roots, sugar, fiber, all these things are there in the sugar cane. Now you can see here that sugar is actually 1/3 of the total biomass. Rest of the biomass lies here. You have the fiber, roots, leaves, tops. So sugarcane has lot of unutilized biomass, which is currently not being focused. For example, bagasse which is coming to the sugar factory is used, but what about the other biomass which is there in the field? It is not being used. So we have lot of possibilities to convert everything into biofuels. Currently, when we are producing power, we are not having enough earning, and we are not able to give value to the farmers to bring trash to the factory. Rather, it is in terms of the energy, you have 2 times more energy than juice in the biomass surrounding the sugarcane production. So look at the total energy scenario. You have the field biomass, you have molasses, you have the bagasse, you have sugar. So in general, sugarcane has around 2000 kilowatt hour per ton of the harvested cane. The sugar cane per se may contain around 1400 kilowatt hour, which is coming to the sugar factory, and around 500, 600, 700 kilowatt hour worth material is actually left in the field to rot. Ultimately, people think that this rotting actually helps the soil. Yes, of course it helps the soil, but ultimately it emits carbon dioxide, it emits methane, which is actually polluting our environment, and also it is not creating any value. So when we bring all this biomass to a processing plant and we digest all the energy portion of this, and do not emit any carbon dioxide or methane out of this biomass digestion process. Rather, we create value out of it and then return the biomass back to the field in the form of nutrient. Then we have a much sustainable model which is actually environmentally friendly. So, this is the new model where you have the decentralized processing, where you have the small plants. Of course, I am not saying that the main factory is not crushing cane. Main factory is also crushing cane, a smaller factory is also crushing cane. Smaller factory is actually converting sugar cane into three parts, which is jaggery, bagasse and trash. So, the trash is collected, bagasse is collected, sugar cane is and jaggery is also collected. Now, jaggery comes to the sugar factory, it produces sugar, it also produces molasses, ethanol, again the whole chain. In the off season, the sugar industry, which is suffering for raw material shortage, can actually fulfill the operation of the sugar refining and ethanol production round the year. The other biomass, which is bagasse, trash, top, has multiple possibilities. Bagasse can be converted into pellets. Pellets, of course, is biofuel. Again, I am saying I am not very good fan of the burning. So, pellets is also a very low value, ultra low value option. It is just like an alternative of the coal, and coal is on its way to die out. So, we have the better possibilities of biorefining, converting biogas, bioethanol, bio-CNG, many other options, bagasse based possibilities are there, and which creates much bigger value than the sugarcane power. Power is actually very small value, it does not even cover the fuel, the bagasse price also. Now, coming back to the whole sphere, you have the three major components of the sugar cane. So, you have the sugar based component, you have the trash based component, you have the bagasse based parts. Now, all these three segments have different products possibilities. So, you have glucose platform, sucrose, glucose platform, sugar based platform. So, sugar cane brings it with itself very high quality, very pure material, sucrose, which can be converted into glucose and fructose and then onwards into various pharmaceutical ingredients, various amino acids, proteins, lactic acid, list is endless, sugar based platform. Ethanol is actually not such a value added product. It is sugar based, glucose based platform which actually creates lot bigger value. Then you have the other thing is the trash. Now, trash, it has a lot of dirt, lot of nutrients. So, when we digest the trash into methane, then you are actually producing the biofertilizer as a residue at the end, and the methane ready to supply into our national grid, and the biofertilizer goes back to the farm. So, here also very big value is created, and the third portion is bagasse, which is again possible to convert bagasse. In terms of the biomass, bagasse is almost equal to our juice in terms of the biomass or energy content. Now, here the conversion by two methods. One method is of course 2G ethanol, which is enzyme based. The second method, which is now coming up very fast, is the gas fermentation route. You gasify the bagasse and then convert it into gas, and that gas then gets metabolized by the bacteria and microorganism, which converts that into ethanol. Not only ethanol, it can convert into acetone, or many hundreds of varieties of microbes are available, which converts selectively into a specific molecule, which then can be separated from the broth and then can be used in the respective areas. So, the microbiology is gaining momentum in the gas fermentation area also. So, these are the processes. So, one process is thermal conversion. So, you are actually converting biomass lignocellulose from all materials into combustion. This is the power generation mode. which is actually going to die out very soon. The next is the converting into various stages of torrefaction, gasification, pyrolysis. You have the biocoal possibilities, you have the syngas possibilities, you have the charcoal, methanol, syngas production. But more than that, this is the direction in which it has to move, where it is through the anaerobic digestion you go to CNG and LNG, biogas, or you go by cellulose to sugar fermentation, where ethanol is produced. Again, this segment is also in some way it is not the most efficient method. Next level is happening is the chemical conversion, where the chemical it is directly converted into biofuels, where it is actually replacing the diesel by the esterification process. We have another process company which is doing some wonderful research, is the LanzaTech, which is having lot of possibilities of converting not biogas exactly, but syngas into ethanol. So, that is the technology which is also coming up very fast. So, you have the possibilities of cellulose, ethanol, jet fuel, pulp and paper, rayon, plastic, all from biomass based product, and amino acid, gluconic acid, lactic acid, citric acid, acetic acid, ethyl acetate, these products can be made out of the sugar based product. So, you make actually twice. Today, we are thinking that 5,000 rupees per ton of cane or 6,000 rupees per ton of cane, if the factory is earning, that is enough. But that is not going to be enough. We will have to create double value, means we have to create equal value from bagasse and other biomass as much as we are creating value out of the sugar. But how it will happen? If we burn all the bagasse or spent wash or press mud into various places, then we will be actually not be in position to sell the biofuels, because we want to sell sugar and sugar based chemicals. We also want to sell ethanol and bio-CNG from the waste biomass. That means that we have to stop burning and reduce burning. That means the energy consumption, when we see sugar cane, what we are bringing with the sugar is about 1500 kilowatt. So, we want to actually sell 1500 kilowatt by way of the product. Then we have to stop burning. Maybe we have to buy the electricity. Electricity is becoming cheaper and it is now being available at a price of 5 rupees comfortably for most of the consumers. Reliability is also very sound and safe. You can see national grids. All our sugar factory power plants are connected to the national grid. So, they are running, they are exporting power. Instead of exporting power, they now have to shift to the importing power and converting this power into hydrogen and combining this hydrogen with carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide to produce bioethanol. Now, look at the value currently of various fuels in the market. You can see petrol, CNG, LPG, sugar, all are little expensive materials. 100 rupee you will get these materials, they are very low in value. In terms of they are very expensive. You get very little energy out of 100 rupees that you spend. Now, as we move, we see molasses is a very cheap material, bagasse is very cheap material, and solar is the cheapest. So, in my opinion, most of these thermal energy requirement have to be met by solar and not the currently what we are doing. We are using electricity or we are using the coal for thermal possibilities, and electricity mostly it is during the day will come from solar. Also in the night we have hydro, we have nuclear, we have other resources. Thermal power plant will after 10 years will be very difficult to sustain. These processes are actually, we can sometimes say it is green processes. They are very actually not at all green. They are not even not only non-renewable, but they are also imported. So, India is one country where tremendous amount of food is produced. Along with the food, so much of non-food biomass is produced, and this non-food biomass is actually a candidate for converting and replacing fossil fuels. So, we have to reduce our dependence on electricity generated by non-fossil fuel based thermal power plant. We have to reduce dependence, and we have to move. Sugar industry has to move towards the use this material, bagasse and molasses, to replace them. So they are imported, they are not renewable, you are renewable. So these are the value areas where you can replace some of the fuels, stop selling electricity, start selling fuel, and fuel from the bagasse, trash, top, and spent wash, all the waste material which are currently not being used for anything. You can see the value creation. Power plant, the sugar factory power plant, they are 25% efficient. While the electricity produced by large NTPC, big modern thermal power plant, their efficiency is 45%. You can actually produce hybrid electricity if you are really interested to combine thermal power plant with based on the bagasse or biomass and solar. So those are hybrid thermal power plants, their efficiencies are much better. You can actually achieve close to 100% efficiency in terms of the biomass. So entire biomass energy can then be put into the national grid. The conversion efficiencies are much more because you are actually you are generating steam with the solar at about 300 degrees centigrade and then superheating with the biomass. So all the biomass energy then actually is going to the grid, and you are having very high efficiency in that terms. But the moment you convert biomass into methane by using thermal energy from solar, your efficiency is again 100%. So you have very high efficiencies and very low emissions, and converting into liquid fuels like various conversion efficiencies. I am saying 70, but it is actually much better efficiencies are possible. So not only you are fetching per kilowatt, electricity is selling at 6 rupees while the ethanol is selling at 12 rupees per kilowatt. So you are fetching much better value in the ethanol sale than electricity, and on top of that your conversion efficiency is also 4 times. So you are actually 4 into 3, nearly 15 times more value you can create when you make bagasse to ethanol by a very energy efficient process which has no emissions. So being green actually is very rewarding. It makes your factory, it makes your business very profitable, and that's what I have been trying to tell the industry to save bagasse, because unless and until you save fuel, you cannot convert it. The conversion processes will come next unless we have the plants which are saving enormous amount of bagasse. So what are the thermal energy sources? So thermal energy, one is the solar. Here we have shown solar voltaic, but actually it is solar thermal, because we are talking about not electricity but mirrors which are actually concentrating and capturing the solar thermal power. So solar thermal power, then electrical heating is of course not very efficient, but actually you have no emissions. So here whatever thermal energy sources which are going to be future of the industry is solar thermal, electrical heat, or mechanical heat recycling. What is mechanical heat recycling is that you don't have cooling tower, you don't have condensers, you don't have boilers, you are simply compressing the waste vapor again into your system. Now this is currently happening. You are running your sugar factory like this. You have a boiler, you are generating steam, you are sending vapors. Here we have shown 3 effects. It can be 5 effects, 6 effects. Now this steam is finally lost in the cooling tower. So you are continuously burning and continuously losing water, losing heat in the cooling tower. Now the next phase of the transformation in the sugar industry is that you don't have boiler, you don't have cooling tower, you are simply recompressing them and discharging the clean water and concentrated juice into your process. You don't burn anything, you don't need any fuel, you don't need steam. This is the future, this is what it is. smaller cane plants where jaggery is produced without burning anything. Here you can see in the wastewater sphere, 100% of the water from the wastewater is recovered in the form of clean water, condensate, and the solids which are going as a recovered chemical, could be recovered cattle feed, could be recovered biofertilizer. Many times we say that water treatment is happening, water is looking clean, but actually water has lot of dissolved fertilizers, minerals, chemicals in that, and that water is given to the water bodies. The water body becomes polluted because it has nutrient, and we want nutrients in the farm. We do not want to put nutrients in our rivers, because rivers, like we used to say, river Ganges, Ganga river is having distilled water because it is water coming from the snow melting. But if we put water from the cities into the river, then river will not be the same quality of water that we know our rivers are. So, all the rivers, in smaller or bigger rivers, they are all meant to flow rainwater, not the sewage water. Even after treatment, the water is not pure, and what our process does is that evaporation, it produces distilled water. The solids are then sent back for further processing. Usually the salts are used for as a nutrient, and other various types of salts can be separated, and we do not have any landfills at all, and we move to the truly sustainable economy and circular economy. So, evaporator is heart of our process, and in that system the plate evaporators, which we have started using since now more than 15 years, they were modified to run evaporation plants on 1 degree delta, 2 degree delta, 3 degree delta. Conventionally, evaporators were running at a delta of close to 10 degrees. The sugar industry, you are running the factories, you feed steam at 120 degrees centigrade, you are discharging steam at around 60 degrees, 50 degrees. So, you are running the plants at very high delta, 10 degrees. Now, the moment you want to recycle the vapors, you need compressor. You need compressor to actually compress from 0.1 bar back to 2 bar. So, it is 20 times pressure rise. It will consume lot of power, and that power is not sustainable power. So, you cannot run many of your existing evaporators, pans on the MVR, because they are not designed to run on low delta. So, the future we designed evaporators based on this technology, so that your delta comes down to 2 degrees centigrade, you consume very little power, and you start actually converting juice into solids, and solid is actually then possible to be processed round the year, because sugar cane as a crop will remain available for about 180 days. So, what about the other 180 days? Other 180 days you have the biomass available, you have stored in the form of jaggery, bagasse, trash, and you keep processing this biomass into various chemicals and products round the year. So, how the MVR evaporator works? This block diagram shows you have a vessel, you have 3 heat exchanger blocks, you are actually circulating the water, and you are bringing the feed. It can be anything, it can be wastewater, it can be juice. You bring the feed is then heated, the condensate is then cooled out, and it is sent out as a clean water. Feed is coming, passing through, and this evaporator, you are actually creating a deep vacuum which is round about 60 degrees centigrade. You are evacuating all the NCGs, and this space, the vapors are produced. These vapors are condensed, compressed by the compressor, and pushed into the other side of the heat exchanger. So, one side you are evaporating, the other side you are condensing. One side you are actually like dirty water or juice, whatever material you have, you can have spent wash as well. And this compressor usually works on a delta of 3 to 5 degrees, 7 degrees, maximum 10 degrees. That too when you want to concentrate and discharge at a solid concentration of around 70-80%. So at that point of time, your actually delta is increased, and then you remove this condensate continuously, your solids are then dehydrated in the drum dryers or pedal dryers, and you have a solid discharge, you have the water coming out as a separate stream. So this is the way various drying processes are aligned to dehydrate the sugarcane juice or water into useful product, and you are preserving this material. So the technology of MVR is applicable in many sectors. Wherever there is evaporation, you don't want to use steam, use MVR. You use MVR, you put a very efficient low temperature evaporation technology, you combine both of them, and then you have the possibilities. You have the distilleries, desalination plants, hotels, wastewater treatment plant, beverage, sugar industry, refineries, pulp and paper, dyeing, housing, jaggery, almost in all parts of our life. Even within the building from where I am addressing, we are putting up a evaporation plant which will actually convert and recycle all our water back into the system, and we will not be very soon taking water from outside. So technologies are moving rapidly in the positive direction, and we are moving very fast into a society which is sustainable society, and we do not burn anything. The days of the burning are going to end. The day of the zero carbon emission are coming. The day of zero water consumption are coming, and we move to a very green and a prosperous future where we are able to take care of the farmers with much lesser land. We can become a green country, green society, where there is no need to actually import the fossil fuels, because we are going to be self-sufficient in all organic chemicals using the biomass, non-food biomass of the agriculture. And food can be converted also into chemicals if there is a glut, if there is a short of demand of the food grains or any of the food material, that also can be converted into chemicals, and vice versa is also possible. Thank you.